Let's talk some Texas recruiting as the Longhorns are trending for key recruits as commit season. Well, commit season is here, Steve. So what five-star options should Texas fans be focused on right now?
Well, grab yourself a Coke, hit the recline on the lazy boy, because this is a segment that's going to have some length to it because the Longhorns are in the mix for several five stars. As summer's really starting to wind down, it's gone fast. We're in the fourth of four major official visit recruiting weekends, and Texas has really dialed it up the last 2 weeks. They're certainly at the top or near the top for the number one player in the state, number three offensive tackle in the land, Felix Ojo. I have my on 3 RPM on Texas for a while. Still feel good about it. They're in the mix for Lamar Brown, the number one athlete in the country, number 7 player overall. Now, I would still lean LSU or Texas A&M over Texas, but Lamar Brown did take an official visit to the Longhorns this summer. He also went and saw Miami. How about Tyler Atkinson, Josh, number one linebacker for the On3 industry rankings? He's taking an official visit to Texas this weekend. He was at the Georgia game during the fall, loves the defense, Coach PK. Obviously, we know Texas has the resources to make NIL runs for the prospects that they choose to make a run at. And I think this weekend, talking to sources about it, the Longhorns are really going to be on the gas for Tyler Atkinson and try and beat Georgia for the number one player out of the Peach State. That sounds a little familiar for Texas fans, right? With Justice Terry and that recruitment last cycle. They already have Diabell in the fold, 5-star quarterback. He's taking his official visit this weekend. He's going to have his recruiting cap on coming into the weekend. Xavier Griffin, number 2 linebacker in the country, also out of the Peach State, same agent as Tyler Atkinson. He took his official visit to Texas last weekend. There's been a lot of confidence around Austin that they could ultimately land Xavier Griffin. I think that from an NIL standpoint, it wouldn't surprise me if the Burnt Orange go the highest for Xavier Griffin in this process. Now, he also took official visits to Alabama, Ohio State, and Florida State. He's got his decision coming up later this month. My on 3 RPM is on Alabama, but I certainly could see him when all said and done in the Texas class. 5-star tight end Kaden Prothro takes his official visit this weekend. They're a finalist for the number 2 running back in the country, Xavier Crowell, as well. So Texas 5-star hunting as much as anybody at this point in the cycle.
All right. One more I want to hit on, though, is Kaden Finley. He has been an absolute battle between Texas and Notre Dame, and now we're getting down to it. How do you feel about Finley's recruitment right now?
Well, it's a tough one to read because there's a lot of confidence around both programs that you look at as the finalists, Texas and Notre Dame. He's obviously a Texas legacy. His father, Jermichael, played for the Longhorns. He's been there a bunch. It's close to home. Texas has prioritized them. Steve Sarkisian, his offense track record of receivers being explosive in his style of play, the award winners, Biletnikov's Heisman trophies. It's all there on Steve Sarkisian's resume, but he's been to Notre Dame twice this summer, been there numerous times. I don't know if there's a target on Notre Dame's board higher than Kaden Finley, regardless of position. Marcus Freeman taking that team to the national title game, the huge need that Notre Dame has at the position. There's reasons to believe that this young man would go to both programs. My on 3 RPMs on Notre Dame, so that's where I sit. But obviously, big official visit this weekend. And Diabell, I saw him at the Elite 11 finals this week. He's like, I think Kaden and I can do special things together. He can't wait to get around Kaden Finley this weekend on his official visit. There's so many other prospects to mention here too, Josh, as they look to finish number 1 for a second straight cycle. You got John Turntime, the number 2 interior offensive lineman in the state. A lot of confidence around Texas. They can get that done. 4-star safety Chase Calicut visits this weekend. My on 3 RPMs on Texas. Now, Michigan and Georgia are battling. Texas is the favorite for a couple in-state linebackers, Calvin Thomas and Kosi Opala. I do think they're going to get a commitment from California tight end Key Brown at some point. I logged in on 3 RPM this week for Texas to land 4-star defensive lineman Bodney Cleveland out of Alabama. He's committing on Saturday. Still love the Longhorns for blue chip in-state defensive lineman Jamarian Carlton. And one more major name, Samari Matthews, 4-star corner out of the Carolinas. Took his official visit to Texas last weekend. Also had a fantastic visit in the spring. I think Texas is trending there. They're trying to trend with Malachi Lee, a massive offensive lineman from Hawaii. They're one of the teams to follow over these next couple weeks. They're at like number 16 right now in the On3 industry rankings. Those rankings seem to change daily, but they're in that ballpark right now. But with all these names that we just discussed, particularly the 5 stars, Texas has a chance to finish number 1 for a second straight cycle.